everybody, and welcome back to the I Don't Know Running podcast, where we share our experiences that make running fun and sometimes not so fun. I'm Lewis, and I'm a self-admitted lazy ultra runner.
And I'm Mitch, and I can't believe that we have Terrence here after he abused me a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
Was it a couple weeks?
I let you say 3 sentences before I chimed in.
Well, he heard me. I was in there, and he's like beating the crap out of my foot. Did I complain about this already?
No, you haven't. We haven't talked about this.
Yeah. At least this time my name comes up while I'm here.
Well, we have talked about you on the podcast before. Without you here, for sure.
I noticed.
Yeah. And those tuning in, listening, watching, will notice we have a couple of guests. Obviously, Terrence, as Mitch has called out. We also have Nick joining us. He's been on before, Nick.
I was back in like October or something like that. So it's been a while.
It has been a while.
Catch up on what I've been doing.
Yes, you have been training. And I actually texted Terrence. Terrence, you didn't text me back.
I'm sorry.
He's a busy man.
I was waiting to call you out.
Yeah, you should. You should call it out when we record the podcast.
Yeah. Just to say, Nick, you have done an amazing job. I've been watching on the sidelines, watching Facebook and things like that, posts and stuff like that. Man, good job to this date. And we are less than 24 hours away.
Oh, geez, don't say that. hasn't come into my head yet, you know?
Well, that already speaks about one of the questions I was going to ask you, but we'll go to Susan first. Susan Haig is joining us from Jacksonville, Florida.
You got it.
Susan, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
And just for some reference from those tuning in, Susan has done over 122, 130?
130 is where I'm
stuck.
stuck.
Is where you're at. Stuck.
I'm stuck.
Oh, we'll get into that. 130 Ironman distance races.
Or full distance.
140.6
Yes.
distance triathlons. That's a lot.
And I was doing some research.
No.
I was looking stuff up. 400 total triathlons?
Oh, I got to be way higher than that.
You think
425
and
was
where I was.
And I said,
you were.
And I said something to Lewis, and only, I wanted to see your sense of humor. Only 130 of them are full distance?
I know. I'm so ashamed. Oh, so ashamed. But I need an unlimited bank account, and then let me see what I can do.
True. There is that piece of it. Yeah.
It is kind of pricey.
Yeah. I also did some math.
Boy.
So Nick, here's some goals for you.
Oh, boy.
I did some quick math, and Susan, I would say it's safe to say that you have done the distance in triathlons to go around the world.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that?
I did not.
So you've done over 18,000 miles of full distance tries. That's just your full distance tries.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 18,200 and something.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first on the I Don't Know Running
On the mathematical.
Yeah, and I did the safe math of just sprint distance, added another like 4,000, right? So if you take your 425 minus your 130, whatever that leaves, and then do that by, I think it's like 15 miles is what I said. But you've done several halves. I mean, so
multiple.
The distance is, it's pretty safe to say you've done enough triathlons to completely go around the equator of the world.
And how many miles is that?
24,000 something.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Impressive.
Yeah, 24,006 something. Yeah. So Nick, goals.
Yeah, well, he'll be down 140.6 by this weekend.
That's right.
23,785 to go or something.
I think goals like that are actually really cool to like look at and like give yourself, but I'm focused on just one at a time.
That's a really good goal. That is a really good perspective, because as we've talked about in running, you only look at the next mile. You can't look at, I have 26 or whatever you're doing. So a couple of things to start off with. I would love, Susan, I would love you to think back to Brazil, your first one, 2002, right?
Yes.
The feelings you had going into that. Now, keep in mind, you had already had over a decade of triathlons.
Correct.
So there is a little bit of a difference here. You've got
So
months.
he did a triathlon this year.
No,
He wasn't even born in 2002.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to move on. Let's move on.
That's not where I was taking
No.
this. I'd love for you to just kind of talk about your feelings going into that first one.
Well, the only...
If you can remember them.
Oh, I can. I think I've already spoken to Nick about it. The funny thing about that was I did not know what a triathlon was. I just happened to see a poster, when you went to the gym.
You're going back to your first one, your sprint.
To give you an idea that
Gotcha.
I had, it wasn't like some people say, I grew up, I watched Kona on TV. I never thought, I don't even think I'd ever watched Kona on TV. I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, and then one in the outlying little county. So that was not my goal in life. And it was not until I headed off to law school that I saw a poster at the gym about swimming, biking, and running. I didn't really swim, but I had in camp when I was 12. I had biked and I had run the 5K. So I kind of said that would be so cool to string all that stuff together because I'm not good at one sport. So like they say, you can stink at 3, but you can accomplish a whole lot more. So I was content for those first 10 years to just do sprints because it was grassroots back then. I mean, you saw the poster. We didn't have computers. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have Google. We barely talked to people that lived outside our radius.
Susan,
so you had much...
Can you tell us about Brazil?
No. But I just... No.
She's getting there.
I think it is important because...
to set this up.
Yeah, because Nick has had a year where he has thought about it, schemed, done all sorts of things, fantasized about it, thought, seen it before you did it. And I never had that on the radar.
Yeah.
And it was when I quit and I had done a half because I started dating a dude. That's what he did. So I said, oh, hell, I'll come do it a half and see if I can have some fun. I did. Almost killed me. And there's stories with that you'd die about, and I can't probably say it on public. But when I was changing jobs, friends said, hey, in 2 weeks, we're going to do Ironman Brazil. Do you want to come and do it? And I said, what the heck? I got me a little free money. I'm going to go. So I bought my plane ticket. I had done a half. I wasn't training for anything. I biked. I think I'd done one marathon at that point. So I had 2 weeks to ponder, freak out, go to the library and check a book out on Ironman because you couldn't go online and Google it.
Yeah.
So I had to rely on those two fools to tell me what to do, like what is necessary. So I didn't even know I needed a visa. I bought my plane ticket. I'm like, I'm going. They're like, where's your visa? I'm like, so I had to drive to Miami. I promised a dude, my first child, I said, if you can make this happen in 24 hours, and then I'm realizing that was no real good offer. He's like, whatever. But he did laugh. And he got me a visa. So I am at the pool every night for the week before I left. And I said, if I can swim a mile a night, I can fake 2.4 miles. I love to ride my bike, so that shouldn't be a problem. But if it's hilly, I'm worried. And then marathon, you're just like, if I could just remain upright and walk. So fly over there, had no idea that Brazil in May is their winter. I came with little teeny clothing, and I'm purchasing everything because I'm freezing. But standing on that shore where you have no idea what is going to happen, those guys had told me to go to McDonald's, buy 2 burgers, put them in my special needs bags, and I'm thinking, oh, okay. Well, I mean, it makes sense to me. I don't know.
Is that what you typically recommend, Terrence?
I'm more of a Wendy's guy.
Okay, Wendy's. Okay.
But when I was standing on the shore that morning, this big rainbow comes, and I thought it's going to be okay.
Wow.
So
there's a big difference, I guess, not knowing. I mean,
I know. That's what I was thinking.
I think there's a big difference. Like, you've been around people. You've been around this.
My whole life. I mean, I grew up with him training for his, full distance races. I mean, he's been with my team Triumph. All my life, I've been surrounded by people who are great athletes. So it's a little different.
What?
Well, not you.
yeah, no, that was when I came to visit.
So, I mean, like Susan was saying, I grew up, I knew what everything was. I knew exactly what I was in for. Maybe in the distance sense, not in the how my body's going to feel during it. But I kind of knew what I was going to sign up for. I wasn't just blind signing up a couple weeks beforehand. I gave myself a year. I was very out of shape, but I was like, I'm going to give myself a year. I'm going to train as hard as I can. I know what I got to do. I know what my goal is. And so I think having that vision and what I needed to do really, really helps with me. I'm a person that needs a goal. I can't just train for the sake of training.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Same.
Well, what's wild is that the last time we talked, and you were already getting in shape at that point, though. So it's not like, I mean, we said 0 to PT Sports Pro was, I think, the episode that we did. But it's not like you weren't doing stuff already. But to see you walk in today, oh my gosh. Like, it's a huge difference. Like, it's not like you just took it easy. You can tell you didn't take it easy. Maybe we'll get into more stuff as far as your training, but you did something.
Yeah. And I will add that even though Nick has processed it for a year, the decision to do this was done a year ago at the Michigan Titanium. And when he made that decision, he had zero experience in any of the sport, or he wasn't training. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't eating well or any of that. So he truly did start from zero.
We did talk about that on the podcast.
Yeah, so he didn't start he didn't have this base and then build up from it.
I did see him eating donuts the other day.
Yeah, that's true.
It's carbs. All about the carbs.
I call out a lie.
The furthest before signing up for this whole thing and getting that idea in my head, the furthest I'd ever done was a 5K. Yeah. I had never swam or biked before.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
That is wow.
I want to get to you now. How are you feeling? We mentioned less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
They got you going already.
I hope it's 48 hours because otherwise I'm in big bad
trouble. What?
How many hours
Sunday.
do we have?
It is Sunday?
It is Sunday.
Let's go with 36.
Oh,
Thank
wait.
heavens.
It is on a Sunday?
Thank heavens.
Yeah. August 10th.
It's a Sunday.
That's got to be, that's right.
Aww.
That has got to be one of few fulls on a Sunday.
Yes.
Because because you go till midnight, essentially. Or roughly, it's 18-hour cutoff-ish, right?
7 till midnight. So
or is it 17?
17
Well,
hours.
Susan will know the stats on how many on a Saturday versus Sunday because she's done enough of them.
Yeah, I think
Fulls.
the fulls are mostly on a Sunday because I think that the
Closures.
race appreciates that you stay within that community for another night because what I expect Nick is going to learn that he may be woohoo when he finishes with about 2 minutes of sitting down and eating some pizza, he's going to be tired.
Yeah.
And the last thing he's going to want to do is drive home, do anything the next day, go to work, do whatever. So most people take a day off. But
Well, he's got to be at work on Monday, right?
My boss
I
is
hope
right next
so.
to me.
Yeah.
So
He's 22. He can do these things.
So how do you feel?
I'm not nervous. I think I've there's always some nerves. It's like I've described it before as like you're sitting at the top of a roller coaster and you're waiting to go down it. It's excitement, it's nervousness, but I know I can do the distances. I've done all the distances individually, besides the running, which we can talk about.
But you don't know running, so you're on the right podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just gotta string them together. It's like a machine carrying out some code. I've done it all. I just gotta go do it all at once. So I'm determined. I'm focused on that. There's no doubt that I've been joking. I've been saying PR or ER is my.
no, heavens no.
Well, I guess technically it wouldn't still be a PR either way.
Anything.
I said no
For the
matter what
full.
you do, it's a PR.
Yeah.
First time.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So you're not feeling too anxious, too, riddled with nerves and things like that.
Yeah, well, it's set in my head that it's going to get done,
Yeah.
I'm not entertaining any of the possibilities that would have gotten me more nervous of like, oh, what if it doesn't go well? What if something goes wrong? I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just thinking about getting it done. So.
Well, and I think the big reason why you can be so cool, calm, and collected is that you put in the work.
Yeah.
You did put in the work.
For better or for worse, as a young man who is attempting something as huge as this within such a short time frame without the experience, you put in the work. I've been on the other side of that, of watching.
Of not putting in the work.
Oh, and
I've been there too.
We talked about that on the way home.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where Nick and I were having a conversation a few months ago, and he said, Dad, I understand this whole Zero to Sports Pro. People are getting excited about what we're trying to do through PT Sports Pro and how we can use a practice to help you engage into these kind of things, right? But at the end of the day, the biggest thing that's going to hold people back is the mental capacity to handle the training and handle the discipline.
Yeah.
And he's done really well at that.
Oh, that's good. Because that's a very tough balance in life.
Absolutely.
So my
ahead.
question too, though, is, Susan, after over 400 triathlon races, do you still get nervous?
Oh, I do. Sometimes standing, I was telling him, standing there on the shore of the big swim, you can be surrounded by 10, 30, 200, and you look around, and although you are surrounded by like-minded people, I check out who looks fit. I look for the poofs. I look for the women that may be older and a little thicker in spirit. And you go, no matter that I'm surrounded, it is still my solo, solitary journey. I have to be on point up here. It's, and my mind is going to go in the highs and the lows. I just got to keep it together, but it can be lonely. And then you just say, do I have it today? Damn straight I do.
Yeah. And I guess probably you could speak to this a little bit, but I'm sure there have been times, or I would guess, over the past 20 years of doing tries that you have probably showed up to a start line maybe not quite as prepared as you would have liked.
Oh, yes. I have done that many a time.
Ask her how much training she's done this year.
Yeah,
this
nice.
coming one.
Is that why? I want to dig in a little bit more. You said 130 and that's it.
Yeah, I have disappointed myself greatly because I always thought this was what gets it done. And the body could not be honed like an Olympian. And I'm finding as age affects us all, and I have gone back into a job that I love, but it is a labor of love, and you just work, and it will never get done. But you work and work and work because I have to be uber prepared. And at the end of the day, after your 12-hour day, it's so much easier to go, I can use my mind for more hours. But I'm tired. I don't want to go to the pool. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But I'm still a 140.6 athlete. So I'm going to pay my money, and it's going to be poorly spent. And I'm going to show up at a start line, and I am apprehensive, and I look around, and I go, why didn't I just put the work in? Why didn't I just do a Nick?
Yeah.
And I do get now more apprehensive because after about 3 strokes, you're like, oh, yeah. This is not going to go well.
Yeah.
And it's harder, and so then I fail.
Is that the one area you feel like you have to focus on the most, the swimming? Not anymore, maybe?
I mean, I've never been good. Like I heard a phrase one time, and I chuckled because it was windmilling the water. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've spent how many miles windmilling the water? Because regardless of how many times I try to focus on the technique, it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel normal. I practically drown trying to breathe on both sides. But I just go slow. And it does. It kind of comes back to you to some extent as long as you keep your heart rate down. The bike can be challenging. That is what we find, Nick and I find, the easiest, and it's not as much expensive energy, except when you're going up and up a hill is just a lot of use. But it's the run. I just can't get her done. Because I can walk.
Yeah.
But I just can't walk 6.5 hours fast. I walk in these, or I'm running and people walk right by me. And then I walk and they just walk right by me again. I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
Has your speed been affected by the heels that you wear?
Only in the finish shoot. Only in the finish shoot.
So Susan has this really great way of celebrating her finishes. When she gets to that finish line, this girl is in no hurry to cross that line. She has danced her way down the finish chute. She's gotten somehow borrowed the most glittery heels.
That's
and has
funny.
In like 3-inch, 4-inch heels. She's dancing. After doing, at the end of a 140.6, she's dancing down the finish.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing, I think.
I said, I challenged him.
Well, I actually did think about that. Firstly, we got to find a heel. I got
big
size
heel.
15 feet.
That might be tough.
That might be tough.
That'll be tough.
We can make some.
But
Maybe some nails and some.
But you can still
Now that we have
dance.
this extra time, but the race isn't tomorrow.
We got a whole other day.
Yeah. But I would, if it were me, I would dance after the finish line. Finish first, then dance.
No, you got to dance down the chute. That's your
Yeah.
opportunity to showcase for the fans. Like they've stayed
Show what
there.
you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I've completed one, and that is my one regret. Was I had a horrible bike. Susan, just so you know, at mile, I think it was 30 ish, something like that. Had a flat, no big deal, right? Change it. But I broke my rear derailleur in the process, so I had 2 gears for the remainder of the 112 bike. Got on the run and I was shot, right? So it was just a slugfest to get through the run. However, by the end of the run, I had taken in enough nutrition or electrolytes or whatever throughout the walking process that I was starting to actually feel better on the back half. So the last 5 miles, I started run walking, and I was actually running the last 3. So I got to the finish and I blazed through the finish. And that was my one regret. It's no, this is your opportunity to celebrate. The last, whatever stretch the carpet / shoot is, celebrate it.
Yeah, get to that edge. And as long as you're not gunning for time.
Yeah.
And you got a little bit of time, but stop and just give yourself that moment to stop and just go, imagine what I've done.
Unless the clock says 14:59. You gun it.
No, that's 16:59.
No,
16:59, 17 hours.
15.
Oh.
I'm hoping 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
15 gives me 2 hours of anything going wrong.
Because I remember
dance after.
My first Ironman, I wanted to go sub 15 and a half. And then as I finished the swim and got to the bike, I'm like, I could go sub 15. And then as I'm getting to the last few miles of the run, I could probably do this in 14 and a half. It would be really cool to go under 14 and a half. So I get to the finish celebration zone.
17?
I'm at 14:29. And I stop and I'm high-fiving people.
No.
I'm like, where's the finish clock? I don't even see the clock anywhere. And this guy I just passed just goes running by me. And suddenly I realize I'm not at the finish line yet. It's way down there. I made it. I still
Did
got,
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was hey, high-fiving people and stuff. And then it's finish this thing real quick.
But you have to be careful, though, because I did the New York City Marathon one year, and I had really, interestingly enough, dropped my time. And I said, oh, my gosh, my finisher pictures are the worst things I have ever seen because I think I look like I am 1 inch before death. So remember.
I try to smile at every camera.
There's one thing I've trained him to do is
he smiles?
Look pretty when you see the camera.
I got that from my mom.
The look part.
I'm you're like this, and then you're like, whoa, camera.
That's typical. Right.
Well, he was teasing me because I finished a 70.3 back in June, and on my tri-set, I had it unzipped while I was running for a bit because it was hot. And as I'm approaching the finish line, I zip it back up and make sure I'm looking good for the finish photos.
Yeah, it does make a difference. Susan, I have to ask, you've done several, as we mentioned. Well, number one, I don't know if we mentioned this. You're the first woman to go over 100 full distance. Did we mention that?
I don't think we did. I mean, I hit whatever number was great, and then I stayed.
Going.
But there is now one other woman from Canada who has hit 100 and probably has a few more.
Okay.
So we're only the 2 women in the world to
have done full distance triathlons, 100 or more. But I have to ask, looking back at all your tries, this doesn't have to be full distance. This can be whatever distance, or maybe you can name 2 if it's not a full distance. Your favorite. Do you have a favorite, and why? When you're thinking back, and Nick, I'll ask you the same thing. I know you don't have the bulk of these, but to this point, you have, because I can think back. Because here's why I ask you that, Nick. Because I can think back when I was training for my first full. Grand Haven, hands down, was my favorite. It wasn't the course. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. It was, for me, something clicked on the swim, and it was just a beautiful swim. And I think back to that time, that was my favorite. So either one of you can jump in.
Do you have one in mind already?
Yeah, I mean, so mine wasn't, weirdly enough, an iron or a 140.6.
Yeah.
Mine was the one and only that I did, Ultraman, Florida. And the reason it was is exactly what you just said. It wasn't the lead up. It wasn't necessarily the sense of completion, although that was great. But usually, like with Badwater or these ultra distance, you have a little pit crew. And so these are folks that some of us are so lucky to have, those people that are willing to perform a task I cannot do. I've done it, but I've not been good at it. But I would rather be in the spotlight as opposed to helping someone else be in the spotlight, because it's just easier. But I am also someone that's somewhat self-sufficient.
Yeah.
So I don't like to have to rely on people during my event. But this event was 3 days, and it was point to point, but you had to have crew, and I was not employed at the time. So I'm thinking, how will I fly people in? How will I put them up in a hotel? How will I feed them? I don't even want to plan. I'm not even like a person that says, okay, like I watch Nick and I'm just astounded because he has his particular amount of food you got to have and when you're going to have it. Me, I'm just like, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, there's a popsicle. Or I'm hungry. There's a piece of gum on the ground. I'll just pick that up and chew it. But my mother and my sister were my crew because, we could all stay in the same room. And the love and support that I got when I knew that I was being so very selfish, that this was all about, it was all me. There was no point to it at the end of the day other than I've accomplished something. And I just remember that I would pull in because I would need to eat, and they would have the chair set up. They had my Red Bull chilling. They had my Diet Coke. They had my Quarter Pounder with cheese. They had cold scarves. And I just loved the course, not so much, but I just loved being cared for in such a way. So I think Nick is going to see that because that is what I found about, I call it Mighty Man, and they get mad. But Michigan Titanium is something, and that's one of my favorite races, and it's in large part due to you are a person, you are cared for, they support you, you want for nothing, you can go on your own adventure, but you never worry about, will I be stuck out here and lost?
Yeah.
Will I not have... And then people are driving golf carts, cheering, making fun of you, lifting spirits when they get low. So it is, for me, all about the race family, if you will.
Yeah.
I think I've had a couple triathlons. I've only actually done 3. So there was a Grand Rapids Triathlon, and then I consider it kind of my home race, even though I don't have a home race. It's Tri del Sol. Tri del Sol, I think, was very special to me because that was a very long weekend. I was helping set up the race on the Thursday, Friday before. Saturday set up as well, and I went out and did a 100-mile bike ride on Saturday.
Oof.
Came back on Sunday to do the Olympic on that morning, and then helped him tear it down and clean everything up. And I was joking that I had to earn my
entry
because I got one for free. But I really like to help out there, and I just remember when that race, growing up, I would help set up that race when I was a little kid. I always wanted to drive around the little Kubotas and stuff like that, and getting to actually do that now is all really fun. But it's a race that has been around a long time, and it's the first year that I've actually done it myself. And so that was pretty cool. And that I really did like that. Yeah.
And I think Nick brought up a very valid point. And when I came up and got to meet Terrence and my friend Source from up here, Terrence introduced me to my team Triumph. And, like I kind of said, to me, and forgive me, Nick, it is a selfish event because I'm not doing anything for anyone. I am truly providing entertainment for the fans. That's my goal.
The 3 of them that I finished.
I know, try even less now.
I'm counting me.
Yeah, but when he kind of introduced me to, I think, people that have Nick's spirit, that have my spirit, and just were not gifted with the ability to go and do for themselves. And 2, I think that's what makes you feel so very special at the end, because even, and they only allowed me to do one sport because I wasn't strong enough to do all of them, taking someone who isn't able to self-ambulate, but doing that for someone else, because I swear, if you will come back, and I tell all your listeners, although they may know this already, but come back at the witching hour. Because, I'll never be an athlete that comes in first in a long-distance race, and they're an amazing thing to watch. But if you come back out when Nick finishes at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. or 12, or most especially if Tri del Sol, you watch, even if you're not doing it. But if you come and you will watch those kids and they even do it at age group nationals and other races have them. But if they come across, I think you will see that they have just as much pure excitement for the finish.
Sure.
Because they were a part of something, they've experienced it. You hopefully are chatting with them. I had a little girl, she couldn't speak, but I knew that she was loving it because the smiles. And I tell you, if you do it once, you won't be able to stop.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the context, just for the listeners again, Triathlon Sol is a race that is owned by my team Triumph. So it is our feature race that we do in West Michigan to allow people with disabilities that cannot complete a race on their own to actually race with a team of athletes that can take them through the event. And so it is an amazing thing to watch. And this weekend at the Michigan Titanium, we will have, I think it's 8 or 10 captains that are going to be racing on Sunday in the Olympic distance. All of them are doing the Olympic. So we will have a team of probably like 30 athletes that's going to make it happen. And it's an incredible thing to watch. So I think part of what inspires us when we're out on the course, right? We put in the work, we get the training in, we try to dial everything else in, and it's all about me and my performance on race day. And suddenly you see something like that, and it's less about me, and it's more about how do we impact the people around us with whatever talent we have. Whether we're the fastest guy or the slowest guy or somewhere in the middle of the pack, how do we help make someone else's day that much better?
Yeah. What's funny about that is I look at it like I get so much out of that. Like, I don't think I'm doing something for somebody else. I'm just enjoying my time when I'm pushing someone in a car or running with a group.
And it's a unique challenge. It's not the same as running on your own.
And you're talking to the other angels and you're talking to your captain. It's a lot of fun, actually. So it's not like it's work. It's like you're out there having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
But it's okay if you fail. Like, I thought if I failed, no biggie. But I've done that, and I've also paced other athletes to make sure they get in. And when I've done, I'm so stressed. Oh my gosh, we're not going fast enough, because I cannot fail if someone else is depending on me to be the horse or the Sherpa to get it done.
Well, when I was on the team with Johnny that one year, I was having knee problems. I wasn't running at all. And he told me, well, put this knee brace on and just try it anyway. All right. And I was thinking, you know what? Doing the full marathon, I'm thinking I'm going to stop. It was so much fun. I'm like, all right, I got to suck it up.
I'm like a bad influence, I guess. Like, oh, that hurts. Well, you can hold on to it.
I wouldn't say that. I definitely wouldn't say bad influence, because Mitch even brought this up, and this is just a short little aside here. Mitch even brought this up because I talked about coming and seeing you and all this, and I'm like, I just don't want to hear you can't. And I was like, well, wait a minute, that's not what Terrence does. He says, no, let's figure out how you can do what you want to do and fix you along the way. So, but anyway, I just want to go back to the whole witching hour part that you brought up, because I think that's a really good point, especially for those that are listening, or if those that are listening share this with somebody, or share this with a non-runner, just in the sense of like, oh, I know somebody that does this, or any endurance sport. There's a lot to take from what you said with like come back at the witching hour, because I think of all the races that we have been to, all of them, the highest emotions, the happiest I have ever felt, the most joy that has been brought to me by an athlete has never been from the guys breaking the tape, that are winning. It has always been from the, whatever, halfway back or whatever. Those that are literally just trying to get across the finish line. Brian, Western States 15. Jeff Smith, who did Mai Tai. If I go back to then, it literally was. We went out on the course, and it was golf cart. The guy like out there with a golf cart, like and hey, can you help us find so and so? He's like, all right, and he goes, and he's like, all right, he's about a mile down the road, and we're like, well, we want to go and help him, and it's like, yeah, go ahead, and man, seeing him cross the finish line when it was up against it, there was a potential that like, man, you can't slack, you got to get going. That feeling, and I wasn't running. this wasn't me crossing the finish line.
But you're so stressed for
I
them.
was so tied into that. It was such a joy. And you don't even have to have a connection with them. Those are friends of mine. Right. But you think of Western States. How many times have we been out there when you watch the last hour of people coming across? I was watching this year. I had tears for the guy that was like coming. I'm like, I'm starting to like get tears in my eyes. The guy is at the track, hitting the track. He's not going to make it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
Oh,
and the whole place,
gosh.
and the whole place is invested in him no matter what. That's so cool to watch.
You know, one of the things, I mean, there's a lot of things I love about Tries for Health events. And yes, we are partners and we work well together for the same reason. We have the same vision and passion for our community. But for this race, for Michigan Titanium, they actually have a special comeback party at 10 p.m.
Oh.
And so John Dupree, he owns Johnny D's Bike Bags. He's out there with his grill and he makes like hot dogs and just gives it for free to everyone around there. My Team Triumph is running the beer tent, so they're raising some money for that. And then John Conkling and John Mosey will pull out all the stops to offer like discounted prices at next year's event, and they really hype it up. And it is such a cool thing that they've made the extra effort to do that, because those folks that are finishing on the tail end otherwise will have no one there.
No one.
Instead, we have this really loud
big event,
big crowd, and they've made it into quite the party.
Cool.
So people are going to be listening to this podcast probably this Sunday.
Yeah, I plan to get this actually out Sunday morning.
So if you're hearing it Sunday morning, you should swing by
out.
Sunday evening to Vesluz Park and just watch the festivities. Maybe even watch Nick finish. And Susan will be hanging out at the beer tent.
I said it was going to take me. I'm doing the half this year, and I told Nick, don't you beat me. Don't you beat me. 'Cause I'm liable to still be out there longer than you will.
Well, I'll ask you both this. Speaking of the race, what right now going into it gives you the most anxiety? Susan, you've got plenty, but there is something there that you're going, well, I probably should have done better at this or that. Nick, I know we've kind of asked, how are you feeling? But going in, truly, is it, man, I'm just not looking forward to the run? We kind of talked about, there might be something there.
So we can get into the run. There are two things that are unknowns to me right now, which is one, I will probably be swimming without a wetsuit. So that is something that I've done before. I can get used to it. You're just slower. So I'm a little worried about time. I think I'll be fine, though. Number two is I got to do a marathon after all this. The furthest I've ever ran is 16 miles.
Got it. No problem.
No problem.
I got to add another 10 to that.
It's okay. Don't think of it that way. Don't think of it that way.
Don't forget the point two.
That point two matters.
It doesn't matter until you get to 26.
And you cuss, and you're like, why?
Yeah, with my run training, I've been the longest workouts for running I've had is 3 hours, which is, I'm not a fast runner, so I can get about 15 to 16 in 3 hours.
He's a fast runner. You are a fast runner.
Well, I'm surrounded by people who could smoke me any day, so.
Well,
they smoke
it's all perspective.
Especially Mitch.
That's all where you're coming from.
Yeah, I can't beat you right now.
I can't either.
Well, that makes me feel better. But
so you're saying it's the run.
Yeah, the run is I'm not nervous, but it's an unknown, like I said, is because I don't know anything about how I'm going to feel. Once I pass 16 miles, it's all new territory.
Right. And he's never run a marathon. And quite often, those of us that do these full distances would have had at least a marathon under the belt.
Yeah, I will say this, though. I mean, really quick, just like you have one thing in your back pocket that nobody else does. A dad that's got tons of experience with, all right, we'll just do this.
It's one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, you're just going to have to make sure you have enough nutrition in, the right proportions of that nutrition, and guess what? The guy next to you knows how to give you that.
Yeah.
And then it's literally just get going. My marathon sucked for my full. And that's the one place I was hoping to make up ground. And it was miserable. Miserable in the sense of like what I thought. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter. Like, I got through it just fine. And I only had 2 gears for 80 miles of the bike.
That's crazy.
So just...
You'll be fine.
Well, I think it's interesting, though, because there's a big mental challenge not going that distance.
Yeah.
And if we talk to you on Monday, you'll be like, And you're not going to believe me right now, but you'll be like, it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Oh, yeah. I
sure.
think it's going to be like that because I'm like this with every new distance that I'm doing. And anything further than I haven't already done, I'm like, am I going to be able to do it?
You're not.
I know my body can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
You're
at the end of the day,
22.
it's like, do I really know? Because I haven't done it before. When I've done something before, I know I can do it.
Well, you're in your head
True.
a lot.
Yeah.
And you're a person that is like that.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is interesting.
I was going to say, I do think, though, when you compare, because again, we've done this for so many years, and even amongst us at the table, I don't know if any one of us have dialed in our nutrition the way Nick has.
Oh.
And
well,
that's
I'm
the
hearing
one-
him talking about
I know.
Dude, I had McDonald's
basically taking a
hamburgers.
day off so he can eat. And I'm like,
Well, I swear it's, and this is why I'm confident that he's going to do
Okay.
well and feel good.
Yeah.
Because he has really been watching his calories and like making. I mean, when he was for the half marathon, he was doing 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day for the 3 days leading up for the 70.3. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like how can he even get in that much food? And he did. And his performance was on point. His recovery was really good. He's like, I could have done another one right after that. So,
Yeah.
bragger.
yeah.
Well,
Braggart.
I'll say it has never happened quite like that again. But I did. I finished the
nothing
70.3. Well, I finished the 70.3. I had the rest of my day. I went to bed. I woke up in the morning and I was not sore. I thought I was going to
great.
be better. Like during the run, during
22.
the half, during the half
that.
marathon at the end,
There is that.
my legs were killing me. I'm like, my legs are going to snap off at this point. And then I woke up the next day. I could squat all the way down.
Wait, you could sit on the toilet without hanging on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But wait till the nighttime, because morning time, your body hadn't even realized what it's done. It is usually about dinner time where you're like, wait a minute, why am I all of a
He
sudden
didn't have
sore?
any of that, though.
Yeah, I
Nothing?
felt I actually texted my registered dietitian that I talked to. I'm like, is this really the effect that nutrition can have?
22.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a mix of everything.
It's a mix. Yeah. I think
Preparation.
it does matter what you eat.
Yeah, it's the
Oh, it
nutrition, the
totally matters.
preparation.
How was your
There's quarter
nutrition?
pounder with cheese over there.
I know, it didn't. I did White Castles at Ironman Louisville. I was sick for 56 miles. I had like acid reflux. You're like, God, why?
We have all done dumb stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how was your nutrition on the during the race? Like, did you get the calories in that you?
I did, but people think I'm a psycho.
Oh, yeah, well, Dad thinks he's
but
a
I think
psycho.
that's what it takes sometimes.
Well, no, because
Exactly.
let me explain. So people don't. I didn't know this at the time because sometimes people forget that I'm not an experienced athlete. I had 17 goos during the whole 70.3. I thought that was normal.
no.
And then I told people, and they had that reaction. They're like, what is
Wait,
wrong with
that's
you? Why would you
amazing.
do that?
Wait,
But
were
I
you the
think-
top tube? You know, you'll walk in a transition and there's one top tube and
Yeah.
it's got 37 goos on it.
That
You're
was
like,
me.
Oh my. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But he wasn't sore.
I mean, but when you do
yeah.
the math, that probably isn't that far off.
No,
But
it
I think-
I said to him the other day, he goes, I'm going to need 21 goos just for the run. I said, Nick, you only need like 3 an hour. And then we did the math like, well, that's 18. Well,
3
21
an
not that far
hour?
off
Yeah.
from 18.
Yeah.
3 an hour?
But
Well,
Calorically.
yeah, because you're trying to do
Yeah.
200 to 300 calories
Yeah.
an hour.
Yeah,
But
so
I
it's about
think-
60 to 90 grams
I think
of carbs.
people that don't know what they're doing do
Okay.
better with that.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, if you have experience, you're kind of over it. Like,
Yeah,
I
you're
don't want to
like,
think about it that much.
I'll just eat a goo when I feel like it.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
but
one on the ground.
that
Let
does
me-
not work.
The advice that I was given
It's
was
too late.
Yeah,
it's
it's
to
too
our
late.
detriment.
That
when
is
you
too
feel
late.
hungry
Yes.
or thirsty, it means that you should have been eating or drinking
Yes.
15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So that's
There's
the
a lot
advice
to
that I
that.
got.
Susan, going into tomorrow?
Sunday.
Sunday.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do
Going
not
into
move
tomorrow,
it
are you
up.
worried about relaxing or no?
Yes.
Going into Sunday.
She first has to find a bike.
I know.
What?
So I know.
What?
Sigh. I know. If anybody out in reader or listener land hears me,
I mean, if you
I need
could
a
fit
bike.
mine, you
Racing
could
by
use
the
it.
time
By
this comes
Sunday is
out.
too late.
Yeah.
yeah, need it
I
before.
have a really nice specialized shiv. If you were to fit it, you
Ooh.
could use it.
We might have to talk after this. Because I need a bike that's basically got a granny gear times 70 to get me. I just want to
Like a
spin
28
up a hill.
cassette.
That's so funny because you live in Florida.
That's why I need help.
Oh yeah.
I don't even like
It's a
walking up a
super
hill.
hilly course. No.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly,
Well, actually,
it is super hilly.
I don't know that course. I haven't
There's some
done that
hills in
course.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's like, it's just a monstrosity. Right up, you just go and up
There's
and up
nothing
and up and up.
monstrosity.
It's
in
like
West Michigan.
500 feet.
It feels much farther.
On the preview, it said 2,500 to 3,000 feet elevation change over 56 miles. So
I mean, I guess that. Over 56.
yeah,
Okay. How many?
2,500 to 3,000 feet.
So I'm doing a race in October that's got 14,000
Which one?
feet in 60 miles.
Which one?
That's
Which race?
That's
A
crazy.
bike?
100K.
Oh,
Wait,
the run.
what race?
Run. It's a run. It's
I know.
the California Fall Classic, Lake Sonoma area.
Interesting.
So a lot more foot there, a lot more feet.
But you're doing it by foot.
I am doing it by
You're
foot.
not trying to roll up a bike
Yeah.
that weighs more than your body and wants
She's
to
making
naturally
it.
go back.
She's trying to make it sound worse for
I think
her.
it's excuses.
Yeah.
and stuff. But anyway,
but-
going into Sunday.
I would very much like to finish.
Okay.
So I have
But
found
nothing brings you like nervousness. It's just more like, I might not have put in the training, but I'm still looking forward to this race.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I really would have much preferred a cooler venue. Susan thought heading north very, very far up into like this mitten area that I would.
It's not the
you know.
heat; it's the humidity.
Well, we have that.
Yeah, they have that.
I wanted like 60s, some rain, some
I know
cloud
because we were
cover.
there. What was it? It was an April time frame, and oh my gosh, we'd
Yeah.
go for runs. I'm like, this is horrible.
Yeah,
we-
it's 6 a.m.
We walked from the car to your front door, and we're like, oh, I just can't run in this. So
Yeah.
I'll be walking 13.2. So if anyone out in listener land would like to come and accompany me, I will tell stories, and I am humorous.
But they
For
cannot
13.1
accompany you because this is a USAT certified race, and they can come and cheer you from the sidelines.
Just
and
run
that's
along
fine.
on
the
it.
side.
They can throw water balloons at her though.
Yes.
I will appreciate the shower if they're soft when they make impact.
Yeah. So you're feeling good. I mean, really, other than not having a bike, that's an important piece. But
I'm keeping her well hydrated.
Yes. Well, you know what? And this is kind of what I think about when I stand, as I said, at the shore, is I tell people when it's going to be their first one, you are about to go on this spectacular adventure. It is an adventure. You can make of it what you wish. You're going to have things thrown at you that no matter how you prepared, it'll be something new. Things will go wrong. You will see stuff that you may be biking along. I mean, I've seen, forgive me, I hope you have a mature audience. I've seen used condoms, and then you just laugh for like, I wonder how that got there, and then you find yourself that you've gone like 6 miles and you didn't even know. You're going to develop blisters where you could have sworn was
That's
the
what
toughest.
the condoms were for,
Yeah.
Susan.
No, I did have a condom on my foot.
Reduce the blisters in the foot.
But I mean, you will meet people. I mean, you won't because you'll be going super fast. Me, on the other hand, I get to meet people. I try to talk to people at the expos
The dog.
and pet the dogs and kiss the babies. And usually people are like, please step away from my child. You're safe. But you are going to have this amazing adventure. And this is what I tell people. When you finish the next day, when you can at least use your hands, write your experiences and be as detailed as you possibly can. And you can tuck that away and then pull it back out again, and you will have forgotten so much of it. But talk about what you're feeling at that very moment. And it is such a joy, because if someone goes, can I do an Ironman? Or can I do a 140.6? You can.
Yeah.
You're going to be living proof of it. I'm living proof of it. Your dad's living proof. These men probably, you've done one.
I've done it full.
I'm not. I don't.
He's
like
a runner.
I don't like
That
riding
does-
a bike.
It doesn't matter. You can learn.
He's
to
done
ride
it
a
100
bike.
miles though, by foot.
Yeah, then you can do an 140.6. But I mean,
40 more miles.
Yeah, you can do it, and it's that feeling also when you cross the finish line of this sense of completion, and then you'll be ready for your next adventure. Because when I did my first, I was so, and I could write a book on the adventures, because do not do what I did, which is they told me to wear a fanny pack. They told me to put a disposable camera in the fanny pack for the marathon.
Oh my goodness.
And to take photos, and those are some of my best photos because they're volunteers, they're my sore feet, they're new people, fans. I jump in and take pictures with the aid station because I know.
Pictures of condoms.
Yeah, then I'm like, note this, DNA test, swab it. But then I'm just so excited for you to do your very first one.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of camaraderie with it that I didn't really think about. Because when you see racers, they're on their own. You're at the end of the day, unless you're, pushing a stroller or something, you are just there by yourself. But everybody is there by themselves together, which is kind of a thing that doesn't happen in a lot of sports. I grew up playing soccer. You're on a team. And there are teams in triathlons, but you don't see a lot of people who I've never met some of these people before, and they're cheering me on. And I've never, I see people, especially on like looped courses, where you see the same person over and over again, and you start to like almost form a relationship and get to know these people. And you'll cross the finish line, and maybe they've already finished, and they see you, and they're like, "How did you do?" Yeah,
they'll stay to see that you finish.
So that's a really cool thing about racing that I didn't. It's a whole world that I never even considered when I started this all.
And that's what I would tell your listener land, that if you're not an athlete, if you've never done a triathlon, if you've never done just a running race, come out, get to know people, and you will give yourself a whole new group of friends and a whole new trajectory for your life.
Yeah. I was going to ask, but you already did it. I was going to ask some advice that you give Nick, but you did it. So Terrence, but I want to ask you, leading into Sunday, you've obviously watched this develop from the moment he told you after Mai Tai last year. I believe that was like at Mai Tai last year.
Yeah.
You've watched this over the last year. Where do you stand? Like, not from a just how are you feeling? All that sense.
Part of me is, if I go back to last year, I got home from Mai Tai just after midnight, and this is when he has this discussion with me about what he wants to do. So I'm afraid what's going to happen at midnight this year. Another
next?
Crazy idea, exactly. No, but I'm super proud of Nick just because he's had a journey with mental health, with anxiety, with depression, where he withdrew from people and crowds and sport and everything that he loved. And to see him get back into some of these things from a different point of view, to see how he handled every component of what was thrown at him, has shown such a level of maturity and growth that is exciting to me as a dad to see that in your child, because it provides us we laid down these foundations of what we'd like to see our kids grow up to be. And it's not even about the race as much as it's about the decisions that he's made around all of this stuff.
Yeah, good point.
So I'm so excited about him making this next big step into something that is impossible for so many people, or seems impossible. And the whole point of him doing it is that it does seem impossible. Yeah. Well, then let's figure out how to make it possible.
I was there last week, Thursday or whatever, and Nick was out there, and I said something to you at that time, and I'm like, he's changed. Like, he is more talkative. He's more like, he's pretty chatty now.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're turning into your dad. But
Ask him how many times I've caught him in the waiting room going, hey, can you clean up the room before you
because he's talking?
Well, I have a question for you specifically. When I first brought up this idea a year ago, did your gut reaction, were you just like, it's not going to happen?
No. Because I know you, and you wouldn't bring something up if you didn't think there was that faintest possibility. And for me, all I need was that little window to say, here's something that he is bringing up. It wasn't me saying, Nick, have you thought about doing this? When you came up with that idea, that gave me so much hope as to where, for me, it was a huge mind shift as to how you saw yourself in the context of this world that's out there, where you could find purpose and use that purpose to then help others along the way. And you have been such an inspiration to so many other people. Patients that walk into the practice like, Nick, how's the training going? What do you do today? And they hear all these crazy stories, which is why he gets held up in the waiting room. But it's been an absolutely amazing journey. If you do nothing else after this, and I know you will do more, if you do nothing else, you've accomplished so much already. And I've always said that sometimes we're so busy trying to live in that future of where we'd like to see ourselves, but we forget to actually live in the now. We look at that race that we want to do, but we forget that even the training is a journey. Even the people we encounter is a journey. And we lift others up through the things that we do, because there are people out there that know that, for me right now, I don't have the bandwidth to do that, but I can live vicariously through the experiences of Nick and use that to help me feel better about the world we live in.
Yeah. So I asked Mom that question a couple days ago, and immediately you gave me the answer I kind of was hoping to get from Mom. But she was like, immediately said, no, I didn't think you would do it. Because, and I wasn't like offended or anything, because I was kind of thinking the same, of I was very non-committal. I was very, like, I would say I would do things and then start them and then kind of fall off the horse and not keep going. And so she was saying, like, she was very surprised and impressed about how I kept with it. And I was curious on what my dad thought, because you guys didn't really know me that well. Like, obviously we've met, but you didn't know how I behaved in everyday life. So for me to, commit to something that this was this big and actually stick through with it, it was the first time I had done that in a couple of years. So
I'll say this, what you've done, Nick, over the past year, well, number one, I just quickly looked up how many people do an Ironman. Not that you've completed it yet, but you're going to do it Sunday.
You will.
0.01% of the population. That's a pretty small that's a pretty small number. But I will say this. That's not what I wanted to say. What I wanted to point out is what you've done over the last year. You recognize that, you've stuck to it, but I don't think that people understand how much you have to stick to with regards to training for a triathlon. Forget the fact that it's a Ironman distance or 140.6, however you want to call it. Triathlon in general is very, very hard to train for. It is a vast leap from running for, training for a marathon, or it is just so much more work. And I've done both, so I can speak from experience to say it was immensely tougher to train for a triathlon / 140.6 than it has been for any 100-miler. 100-milers, I can just run out the door. I can get my running in. So what you've done is huge over the last year. It's just a lot. So congrats.
Thank you.
Just on the training. Forget the fact of Sunday. What you've done is so big.
Yeah, I was looking at, because I have everything written down of like my schedule, and I've done thousands and thousands of miles just in training. If I were to, I probably could have done 10 of these already if I took all the miles from training and put them together.
You could have run all the way across Michigan, not around the equator.
Right. Not quite. We're getting there.
Maybe we'll have to come back in a couple of years and we'll see where I'm at then.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about the past and what's coming Sunday, but let's talk about the future a little bit. Susan, what do you have coming up? I know you're stuck, quote unquote, at 1:30, but where are you going with this? What do we got coming up? What can we expect from?
I need to take a page out of Nick's playbook, and I have got to stop putting it off for another day and putting it off for another day, because tragically there is always a crime, always a criminal, and I'm not going to stop it. But I have Ironman Maryland in September, which is another race I truly love, because like this, it is a small community of Cambridge, Maryland. The people I have met are just spectacular. There was a race director, Jerry Boyle, who has since passed, but he was just a prince among men. And when he knew I liked heels at the finish line, he went to Goodwill and bought prom shoes from 1972 and put them out. So I danced in all of them to make his effort worthwhile. And then I have Ironman Cozumel.
Oh, okay.
I think I have Marine Corps Marathon.
Oh, cool.
That was my first. And then...
Have you done Cozumel yet?
Oh, yeah. I'm the American woman that is the only woman and the only American that has shown up at the start line, and I had a perfect record until I got my job back. And now I just show up and do it.
Brad, that's one of Brad Prime's favorite.
Yeah.
He's been down there a few times. And Nick, I know you've done a ton of training, and you still have the big race on Sunday. But what's in the future? What do you have? What's your goals? And you don't have to lay them all out, but you obviously have over the last year developed a feeling for these triathlons and races and endurance. What do you got?
There's a couple ideas that I've thrown out of like what my next journey will be. Immediately, there is Ironman Michigan in September, which I've already signed up for. So I will be there.
Oh, in September.
September, I think like 14.
Literally just said it. I was going to ask, when is it?
So, about a month after this, I just got to maintain my level and I'll be fine.
Awesome.
After that, I want to do a solo just marathon, so Grand Rapids Marathon will be a good
That
one.
makes sense. Get a couple marathons in during an Ironman, and then go do a marathon.
Yeah, but new things that I have never done before that are a little unique was I want to try to get back to South Africa in either Two Oceans, I think it's called, which is a 34 miles run, or Comrades, which is 56, I think.
Yeah.
And that is going to be a big thing to chew. But I think out of all the options, it was that or travel the world a little bit and try to hit some majors around the world.
Oh, cool.
If you're doing Comrades, if you can take me along.
Yeah, take me along. That's what I said.
I know the course. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
could go.
He lived it.
So I had something though too, is when we were talking about the distance around the Earth. So you can't be done yet because with full distance, because you got to go the distance to the moon yet.
Oh.
Ooh, how close is she to that?
Yeah. I mean,
That's
A
like
long way.
There's a higher chance of us being mooned than her going to the moon.
there is a great
238,000 miles.
Just do what you've done 10 more times. As in 130.
Yeah, that's, not one.
Yeah.
That's asking a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I was saying though, there's a lot of races that are typical races that are also fun to do, and it's a fun goal to train for. But I kind of like the unique ones that are a little different. So, Comrades is close. It's where my grandma lives in the cities in South Africa. So that's always like, two birds with one stone. I get to go back to South Africa and see them, but I also get to do this really cool race. But yeah, I kind of want to race with the goal of seeing everything, As much as I like racing in Michigan, I've lived here for 22 years.
Yeah.
I think I used to joke with my dad before I started doing all this. Obviously, things have changed now, but I told him probably 2 years ago, the only time I'll ever run is if I'm doing the original one in Greece.
Yeah, I would like to
I
do
think
that.
that would be
that's
cool
a bucket
to do.
list one.
Yeah.
I would do
so
that
just,
too.
ticking off some bucket list stuff like that around the world, because it's not like I don't have to train for that. I would still, having a goal to train for it will keep me healthy and keep me on board.
Or what is that Spartathlon? Is that something where you...
Yeah, it's
It is an ultra though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that the one that is like the toughest one is over somewhere in Europe or something. But anyway, that's with all the extra like obstacles and things like
I
that.
don't know, but he needs to really bite out a big
Actually,
ol'
that
apple.
is something that if I was 20 years younger, when I started to learn of those, man, that would have been fun. Mm-hmm. But when you hit 50, it's like, man, that doesn't heal as quick.
Nope.
And stuff is like, I think I'll leave that. But that's awesome. So you do have obviously already one Ironman distance on the calendar.
Yeah.
And TBD for after, because sounds like maybe some
There's
ultra,
a lot of things that
ultra
I would like
distance
to do. I would
running.
love to. I've always said I would love to go to Kona. That would be a lot of work because I've got to train and qualify. But I'm young,
Yeah.
so I have time to train and qualify.
Heck,
I was talking, and I'm not sure what the actual age is, but I was talking to Dave DePrado, my coach, who's been on here before, and he was telling me triathletes' optimal age is around 35.
Yeah.
Which means I've got about 13 years still before I hit peak age.
I know, right? Yeah.
Braggart.
So yeah, I would love to get fast and maybe win some stuff.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I wish I would have known, then what I know now with regards to endurance sports and things like that. And because I didn't have a clue. And man, to be in your shoes, I'm a little bit jealous.
I'm very jealous. Very jealous.
Yeah, my dad likes to say the world is my oyster, which is, I always roll my eyes, but he's kind of right sometimes.
You got to see that though, right?
He's got a lot of weird sayings, though, doesn't he? Like old people sayings.
With age comes wisdom.
Yeah, I've heard a few of them.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on the podcast. I am looking forward to Sunday following, if not showing up. I got to be honest, I kind of want to show up and do some cheering. I can't guarantee it because I just don't know my schedule, but if it's open, I probably will make a beeline over there and check it out. But I really hope and pray that the race goes well for you both. You find a bike. And Nick, as Susan said, something will happen.
Yeah.
Don't let that, knock you down. Like you're gonna have stuff happen.
Yeah, I think every race I've done, something has happened. I've just got to prepare the best I can.
Yeah, and just keep, as you say, in a lot of what you do is constant. What is it? What is it?
Oh, perpetual forward movement.
Motion. Yeah. Just keep moving
Yeah.
forward.
And I have found a good cry will come and go. I've cried on the bike. I've cried. I've stood on the side of the road, cried a little bit, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm better now.
Oh.
And then on you go.
And Terrence, are you working?
Yes, PT Sports Pro will be at the race. We'll
Okay.
be doing the post-race massage and stretch. I'll be stepping away each time he comes in through,
Good.
of course. And
Good.
We've got a team out there. But again, my joy is to just help another athlete, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's after the race, help them feel a little bit better. So we'll be at the expo the day before the race and then on race day all day.
That would be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my
expo.
gosh.
Or when this comes out, that'll be yesterday.
True, that's true. Yes. Don't go there Monday. It's not on Monday. Well, hey, again, thank you guys so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank
But
you.
that is going to wrap up this episode. Until next time. I have totally
something.
botched the ending.
Check us out on Facebook.
Oh yeah, all of
Patreon.
All that stuff.
that. All of that.
YouTube. All that.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah. Until then, happy running.
Amen.